Hey everybody, John here from incomesh.com. Welcome back to the channel. This video is going to be the last homepage build challenge video that I do, where I have been recently comparing Brizy against Divi, against Elementor, against Thrive Architect, and finally against Gutenberg to figure out what is the best page builder for you going forward into 2019 and beyond. And I'm extremely excited for this one because I'm testing Elementor in this particular video, and what I've done to prepare this is put together kind of a summary of every other comparison we've done so far. So you can see we've done the Divi theme and Divi Builder, the Astra theme and Thrive Architect, Astra theme and Brizy, Astra theme and Gutenberg, and finally here to round us off is Astra theme and Elementor. So the big thing I'm looking for here is performance and ease of use, as well as kind of future extendability. What is the entire future for page builders in general now that Gutenberg is coming and really picking up some steam? So let's waste no time. Let's go ahead and build our sample homepage. I'll give you an idea of what it is we're going to be building in general. This is actually one of the samples we built from Brizy, was this page builder. So the styling will be a little bit different than what the original demo was, but it'll give you an idea what it is we're going to build. So a couple different layout elements, some blog post grids, several different images and overlays and stuff going on here, as well as just a lot of different column layouts. So let's waste no time and go ahead and dive in and build this sucker using a blank Astra website with Elementor installed. So let's go ahead and review our plugins real quick on this guy here. So in this sandbox website I've built, it just has Elementor and Elementor Pro installed. It has some additional blocks and other features I was just testing out, but I've deactivated for the sake of this page build. And let's go ahead and go to new page and get started. Okay, so here we're welcome with our Gutenberg build. So let's go ahead and say edit this with the Elementor full width canvas, and we'll go ahead and publish this as it is. Let's just take a look at it real quick. Okay, so we have just a very blank page. So we'll go ahead and say edit with Elementor, and we'll be off to the races here. All right, so here we are, and the first thing we're going to want to build is this hero section at the top. So let's start by just adding in the 2-column layout that we're going to want. And let's go ahead and quickly adjust the style here, go into the background style and give it an orange. And let's go ahead and grab our hex color we want. This will be our hex color. Put this guy in here. And that looks good so far. Let's also go into our default colors and make sure this, okay, so we have set this orange as our accent color as well. So we're looking good so far. And we're ready to go. So we want to add this text in as a header. This will be an H1 header we want here on the left-hand column. So go in to header, pull it in. Just, oof. Okay, remember that. Don't just copy and paste text that you find from another website. It will pull in all sorts of styling that we don't need. But if you paste it here, we'll be good to go into the little text box editor. We'll make this an H1. And like in the previous videos, I'm not going to worry too much about the font type or the weight. You can adjust all of that, but that would be kind of a waste of time here. That's something that we can definitely do. No problem at all. Let's put the image on the right-hand side now. And we'll choose our image, and I'll find this little image here and put it in. Looking good so far. And let's get the little subtext here. This will be probably like an H4 text. So we'll bring another heading module and pull this guy underneath. Put this in. Let's remove those spaces and make this, let's try an H4. That looks about the right size. And let's also make sure that we want this to be lined up in the center. I don't like it being at the top here. So we'll go to the, click this button here to adjust the entire section settings. And under content position, we'll make this in the middle of the position. That way, no matter whether I'm on mobile or anything like that, it won't have unnecessary spacing by default, but it'll be nicely centered in the section here. I do want to adjust this font text here. This is black on orange. I'm not a big fan of. It's very Halloweenish. So let's go ahead and go to style, text color, make that text white. And I think if I were to copy and paste styles, I can take the text automatically that way instead of having to go through and adjust the same color settings on the button. Okay, so we're looking good. Let's go ahead and add this button here. It's going to have a little arrow and a little fade effect. So we'll go back to our bin and take a button. Put it down here, and now you can see by default it's taking the default colors of an orange background, so that's why it's kind of hidden. So let's go ahead and make some custom styles here. So under style, we'll go to background color, I'll make it kind of a whitish. And the text, let's get out of there. And the text color here is going to be a little darker, about there. Looks good. We're not going to be too, precise. We get the idea. We'll find an arrow, right? And we'll make sure we put this after the text here. So we're looking pretty good. The button's a little small for me, so let's go ahead and make it a large button. Looks very call to action-y. And so how are we looking so far? Let's go ahead and hit the update button and preview what we've done. Okay, so already we've done a lot of work, but it really wasn't hard. I haven't stressed out at all building this section here. I could add some padding here, so we'll add a little bit of padding between these two. I'll use a spacing icon, and I want to remove the padding between the bottom of the image and the bottom of the section. So let's do that first. So we'll do that by taking a look at this column here and going to the padding and removing padding. And with one click, we're looking much better there. All right, so let's go ahead and add a little bit of space between the button and the header text here. I'll do that with a simple spacer. And I'll just drag that in here. And where are you? Looks like it didn't take. Let's try that again. Space. Drag you right here and release. There you go. Let's give it, let's just say 35 pixels of spacing. Just gives us a little bit of room to breathe. Looks pretty good there. And the last thing I want to do in this section here is add some margin, or I'll just do a spacer from the top of my face to the padding there. There's multiple ways you can do this. I like using the spacer. It gives me something very explicit to see. And I'll put 50 pixels of padding there. Okay, so this section's looking pretty good right now. Let's go ahead and preview one last time, and then we'll move on. Okay, so it's looking pretty good, what we wanted to go for. So let's move on to the next section here, which is going to be a little header and then 2 rows of icons. So I'll go back in here and let's go ahead and make our header first. There'll be a 1 column section. We'll drag this header underneath and call it What I Love. And once again, let's do a spacer just to give us a little bit of padding here. And let's say, wherever, a nice level there. And center that. And good to go. H2 is where I want that to be, so we're happy here. And now let's do a 3 column layout. And let's just see here, we want our pie chart. So let's just start building one of these out, and then we'll start duplicating. So here, what we want is, I think we can use the image box. Let's just see what this looks like here. So we have an image, a header, and some text. And that's exactly what we're looking for. So that's one element that saves us a lot of time. We'll come here, we want the pie chart, so we'll drag that in, insert the media, and let's get our text here. Alrighty, and the subtext, and that's about as easy as you can get there. So the last thing we want to add here is a button underneath, a button underneath that has a little arrow and as a call to action. So what we could do, I don't think we can add one directly into this widget here. Let's just explore. Sometimes they give you a call to action option, which I don't see it on this one here particularly. So what we'll do is just add a little, let's see. Let's add a button. And we'll center the button, make it a small button, give it the arrow, right? And we'll call it, where's the text here? Learn more. And what we could do here as well is let's go ahead and take the background color and make it clear by dragging transparency down. And we'll take the text color and make that an orange color here. So let's grab our color picked history and put this guy in. Okay, so that's kind of the effect we're going for here. We'll go ahead and keep that as it is and not worry too much about the little nitty-gritty details. And what we'll do now is we can duplicate this column, and now you can see it takes everything in one shot. But what that tells me is we really didn't need to make this column here. So we'll delete these columns and we'll simply duplicate as we go. So let's take a look at the next one. We want great landing pages. So let's take this text. Let's come over here. Let's adjust this image on the second one. That's going to be our landing page icon. And I apologize about my voice today. I'm speaking softly simply because I'm going through some coughing fits. So I'm not trying to put on my sexy voice. This is just what I can do to keep talking without coughing too much. All right, so we've got our great landing pages here. Let's go and duplicate this column one more time. And see, it's automatically doing a lot of optimization, kind of being responsive and moving the images around as it needs to. Really, really nice functionality here. Email marketing. So let's grab our email icon, insert the media, and grab the subtext here. Okay, so we filled out the first row here, and what's nice about this as well is that we can just select the entire section, right-click and duplicate the entire section, and bada bing, bada boom, we're all ready to add the second row of content here. Let's just take a look at the next icon. We're gonna have super simple courses, some subtext, and a little hat. So let's add that in. Add our subtext in here. And let's get our image correct here, which is going to be this little hat kind of guy. Insert media, good to go. Next one, done for you with a blueprint. So let's go here. Done for you. And let's add the blueprint in. You see how fast I'm able to go here. This is a very intuitive builder. And then finally, use this, not that, with a little checklist. So let's click on this guy. Let's add this text in. Hey. Oh, I had the wrong text here. So we'll keep that along. This is just a dummy anyways. This is use this, not that. And then let's add the checklist icon here, which is going to be this guy. And here we go. So we're already looking pretty good so far. Let's just review how it looks on the front end. All right. I mean, I like that section. It's very well put together. We could add maybe some spacing here, but that's just small little details. One thing I forgot to do on this first section, though, is if you remember, there's actually a background image that we want to have on this section here, just to show how it deals with transparency. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this background, go back to my styles, and add an image to the background here. And let's add this image that has, you can see it's a lot of transparency. It's got an icon in the top left and some little fun gradients flipping around here. And so it looks like it's adding it in correctly. It's putting it where it looks like it's trying to fit it all here. Let me see if I were to go to sizing, cover. So it looks good. In previous builders, we found that it would overly blur out the icon. It would do a couple different things, but this is looking pretty good. I'm very happy with how this is coming across here. Let's just do one last thing here. And on the image, I think we can do an overlay. Let's just darken the background a little bit and see what that does for us here, because it does kind of blur out the text here. So for the background overlay, we're going to add a black overlay and maybe about there. You know, that'll work. That'll work for me. And we'll just hit update. And now we'll move on to the next section, which is going to be another heading, some white space, and a 3-column kind of fancy layout here. So let's scroll on down and add another heading here, which is just a 1-column layout. Grab our heading, pull it in, and let's get our text exactly right. Put this in here. And I definitely want to add some spacing here. I'll show you a different way of adding spacing with Elementor. So on the section area, I can go to the Advanced tab and add some padding and add some top padding. Let's say we want 75. And I accidentally added it to everything. So let me hit undo, take the link off, and just go do 75 pixels of top padding. And there we go. And now we'll go back to the heading here and centerline it and hit update. Okay, so the heading is done. Now let's go ahead and add this 3-column layout with an image in the middle. So we'll do one more section, 3 columns. Let's go in and find that image and pull it in. And let's drag in the image of this little circle graph and make sure we align it center. Looks good so far. And let's do, we'll make it let's just do a text editor. And let's find this text here and copy it and paste it in here. Okay, so it definitely gives us some spacing. So let's get rid of some of that spacing there. No, this looks about right. Let's add a spacer underneath this heading. All right, so now I have a little bit of spacing between the heading and this next area here. So now the last thing I think we're going to need is just some more text on the right-hand column. We'll grab this and let's take the text from the model. Okay. And we also have this effect of having some spacing going down. So we'll add one more spacer just to the top here. And let's just kind of eyeball it. And that looks pretty good there. So we'll update and preview. And now we can see we're looking good so far. And this has been very easy to do so far. So the next section, we'll have a header and a Blogroll. So let's go here for our one column layout and let's do a header. And we'll call this latest posts. Okay, and center line. And let's definitely add some padding here with another spacer. We will use this guy very frequently. Looks about right. And then let's add our Blogroll, which should just be post, I think it is. Posts. Or let's do posts. And I made some fun little posts just so you can kind of get an idea of what it would look like in a real website. And here you have a lot of design options. We'll skip over most of those because we're just wanting to make sure we can get the blog post in. And so we have that there. Very good. So moving on, we have an orange section with a background image. So let's do that. First, we'll make it a one column here. And we'll add that header. I think we called this answers to your questions. So we'll put that text in. And we'll centerline, of course. And let's go ahead and make this an orange background with a style, background, the color here. Let's grab our hex one more time. I can go into the theme or into different settings and set my palette. I'm skipping that for now, but you definitely want to do that if you're building a full website with this. And then, of course, we'll take our text color. We'll make sure our typography. Heading color here is going to be white. There you go. And let's make sure we add some spacing here. We'll just do a spacer. That looks good. And we'll also add a spacer at the bottom. Okay, so we have this. And then let's also add our background image here. So I'll go to Style, Background Image. Let's add in this guy. And that's only an 8 kilobyte file, so it should not slow our site down. And maybe add just a little bit of style to it. And you can't see it here yet, but when we add more content, I think it'll show up. So let's go ahead and what we're going to want to do here is just a header and then some paragraph text. So what we'll do is simply add let's do an intersection here. We want to add a section within the section, so we'll go here. We want to add an intersection. There you are, okay. Now we have two columns here. And what we'll do is pull in a header, and we'll do what we did here, because this is just a sample build of kind of give you some dummy text. So the heading text here, paste it in, and then underneath it, we'll just add probably a text editor, just do paragraph text. And what we can do here is go to our section settings and go to style. And under typography, we can set the settings of all the text underneath it. And so we can do, let me set this on the inner setting. Style, typography, text color, which looks like it's not working here because we have default colors enabled. So let's actually just go ahead and style this text specifically. There you go. Make it a slightly lighter gray than this heading here. I like that look. And we'll be able to duplicate to our heart's content. So let's take this column and duplicate that column out. Or remove this column here. And now we'll be able to duplicate the heading and drag it down. If we can find the right spot, there you go. And duplicate this and bring it down. And we won't go through all the effort of copying the same text over and over again, but you can see how that would work. And I think we have just two questions on each side. So we'll take this again, duplicate it over, bring it over here. Sometimes you have to move your mouse around just to find the right spot that it wants you to drag it. There you go. All right, so we have our text here, our background image. Let's go ahead and update this in preview. Looks like we might want to add more white space, but that's very easy to do. And what I want to see here is the background image even showing? Okay, so it's just a very wide background image. I'm recording on a smaller screen here, so it's easier for you guys to see, but that would be what's going on there. This is all looking about right. Let's just add one little spacer between that header and the other intersection here. So we'll do spacer right beneath here, just to give us some more room. And I'm feeling good about this. That's looking pretty good. So let's move on to the next section here, which is going to be our last section of the build, which is a 3-column with social, a little image of a kind of freebie, and a sign-up form. So let's go here, and we'll make a heading here, which is going to say follow income mesh. And we'll want some social icons. So we'll say social icons. And boom, that looks really nice. We'll get rid of Google+, get rid of Twitter, and I think we can add YouTube. There you go. Oops. If I can click right. Add YouTube. Looking good. And then I think under style, we can change it from the official color to a custom color. And let's go ahead and take our hex. Pick color history, grab our hex, and put this guy in here. And now we've adjusted all the colors here. And the hover color as well, you might want to adjust that as well. Maybe we'll do this and, oh, no, that's not what we wanted to do. Oh, there, icon hover. So then you can do maybe a darker version of it. So let's do this and then a little darker. Kind of gives us a nice effect there. Okay, so we have our social icons. Let's go ahead and make sure we put some space here. There's no room to breathe. We need room to breathe. What we'll do to achieve that is let's go to the section here and go to advanced and go to padding. And well, let's do margin first. Let's make 100 pixels of top margin. That brings it down here, and now we're good to go. So now let's hit the middle section, which is just an image of kind of a giveaway or a book or something, some sort of lead magnet. And so we'll pull in that item here and insert the media. Looking good so far. And let's also make sure that I like having the height in the middle. As I do that, I take it back. Let's go back to the top. And then on this side here, we're going to want to have the form, which is kind of it could be a contact form, a login, a subscribe form. It's a really multi-purpose, really useful piece here. And let's just go ahead and say we don't want their name. We do want their email address and no need for a message. And we can link this up to a bunch of different services. You can link it up to MailChimp or Drip or ActiveCampaign, all sorts of different autoresponders, which is great. And that is probably going to be the majority of our build here. Let's just take a look at what we did, and then we'll run some speed tests to see how it performs. And I think that the spirit of the homepage is there. I had a great time building it. It wasn't a really challenging build at all. Easier than most of the page builds, honestly. We didn't do much styling here because there's a ton of options that you could do to style it, but it works. So what we're going to do now is go back to the dashboard. We have our build done here. We'll call this Elementor build test. And let's update our page. I think we already published it. So let's just see the actual live page. We have our URL here. Now I'm going to go to GT metrics. And let's put this guy in and just see how we do. We'll run 5 speed tests together. Here's number 1. Okay, so pretty good. Average result for the first one is a 2-second load time. So we'll go ahead and log that. And run version 2. All right, very good. 1.9 seconds. And let's go for number 3. 1.8 seconds, getting a little bit better. And let's just take a look at the waterfall here. So this, we can't really blame Elementor at all. It's taking almost the full second just to get the URL. That is a hosting issue, or looks like it's a Cloudflare issue going on here. So I can't really blame the build. And then the actual loading here was very quick. So let's do one more test here. 2 seconds again. Test number 4. Wow, very good. 1.6 seconds. And test number 5. And finishing strong at 1.5 seconds. So our average here is going to be 1.8 seconds, which is the second slowest, but not by much. It was just behind Brizy. And to be fair, on this build, I did something not quite the same. I actually did have 3 images for it to load here. So that could contribute a little bit to the speed issues that we're seeing. But overall, for the ease of build, that's not a bad speed result there. So let me give you some of my thoughts here. Bring myself back onto the screen. So as far as build speed, I was having no issues, and honestly, Elementor is one of the least familiar builders that I'm familiar with. That's why I left it till the end. But I really had no issue getting around the settings, finding the right widgets or elements to use for my building purposes, and I had a great time. They have a lot of efficiency things built in, like the default color palette, which would automatically bring your accent colors into every element there, which is really well implemented, I think. So as far as build speed, I'm going to have to give, this is probably my best build yet, just in terms of how I felt going through the process. So build ease, same way, really had no issues at all with it. The end speed result, I mean, it was faster than Divi by a good bit, 1.8 seconds versus 2.3 seconds, but it did not come close to Gutenberg or Thrive. So we'll give it like a 6 or so, because it's very similar to Brizy. And seeing that a lot of it was waiting on Cloudflare, I don't know if I can really blame Elementor itself for that result. So for the overall result here, 7.3. Guys, they're all good builders, but in the next video, I'll go ahead and kind of give you a recap of each one of these, because I know each one of these are a long video, and give you my final thoughts. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.